the new year. Here we go. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. We'll do that one more time. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Here's the next part. Aye, 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 aye. So we just come down. Here we go. Aye, 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 aye. Let's go back to the beginning. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Here's the easy part. Aye, 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 aye. Find the beat for me. Just find a beat here. Boom. Here we go. Just find a beat. There we go. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Aye, aye, aye. There's some harmony, I hear it. Aye, aye, aye. Oh, yeah. There we go. So today's service about resistance, and so found a song that we've done. Oh gosh, as a 1 hour choir, as a choir. But I'll teach it to you, and then we'll pop in some different words. So the song is Give Light. But we're actually going to change the first words already. We're going to do Speak Truth, and people will find the way. Speak truth. Oh, that's way too high. And people will find the way. Speak truth, and people will find the way. People will find the way, I do believe. Oh, no, this is cold and flu season. We are not taking it that high. So here we go. Speak truth, and people will find the way. Speak truth, and people will find the way. Speak truth, and people will find the way. People will find a way, I do believe. Let's do that again. Speak truth, and people will find a way. Speak truth, and people will find a way. Speak truth, and people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Show love. Show love, and people will find a way. Show love, and people will find a way. Show love, and people will find a way. People will find a way, I do believe. Speak up. Speak up, and people will find a way. Speak up, and people will find a way. Speak up, and people will find a way. People will find the way, I do believe.
I need somebody, help, not just anybody, help, you know I need someone, help. When I was younger, so much younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way, but now those days are gone. I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I've changed my mind. Open up the doors. Help me if you can. I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Oh, won't you please, please help me? And now my life has changed in oh so many ways. My independence seems to vanish in the haze. But every now and then I feel so insecure. I've never needed you before. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down, and I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me? Younger than today, I never needed anybody's help in any way, but now those days are gone, and I'm not so self-assured. Now I find I've changed my mind. I've opened up the doors. Help me if you can, I'm feeling down. I do appreciate you being around. Help me get my feet back on the ground. Won't you please, please help me, help me, help me.
Good morning. Welcome to the Unitarian Church of Lincoln. My name is Charlie Ahern. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am a member of this congregation. I am not a minister. Our interim minister, the Reverend A.J. Galazin, will return to the pulpit next Sunday. Whether this is your first time here or your 500th, if you came here hopeful or heartbroken, whatever your net worth, whatever body you live in, whomever you love, you are welcome here. When we worship together, we have a chance to deepen our connection with the sources of meaning in our lives and to proclaim who we are and what we are about. Throwing open the doors of our congregation to share the radical love and welcome that is at the heart of our faith. As we think and talk about nonviolent resistance this morning, please consider resistance in the context of a few values and aspirations that have been part of Unitarian Universalism. The goal of world community with peace, liberty, and justice for all. Justice, equity, and compassion in human relations. The right of conscience and the use of the democratic process within our congregations and in society at large. For me, the aspirational keywords that describe nonviolent resistance are peace, justice, compassion, and democracy. As the United States apparently embarks on a war of conquest, we should remember our values and aspirations. Take a moment to center yourself in this place. Find a comfortable place with your body. Take a few deep breaths, and let us continue into worship with our opening hymn. We are a gentle, angry people. Number 170 in the gray hymnal.
Good morning. My name is Jason Slaughter. I'm a worship associate for this morning, and we are here at our chalice lighting. The flaming chalice is a symbol of Unitarian Universalism. Most Unitarian Universalism congregations begin their worship on Sunday mornings by lighting one in the form of a lamp or a candle. Many people are surprised to learn that lighting a chalice as a part of worship only found its way into Unitarian Universalist congregations in the early 1980s. But the path it took to reach the sanctuary is a very Unitarian Universalist one. A story that begins with Nazi resistors and ends with children in a religious education program. Originally, the flaming chalice was a two-dimensional image stamped on documents created by the Unitarian Service Committee, or the USC, to help Jewish refugees escape Nazi persecution on the eve of World War II. The design has been hastily put together by the artist Hans Deutsch, himself a refugee. Deutsch was working at the direction of the USC directors, Reverend Charles Joy, who believed that such a logo would make their paperwork look more official. Reverend Joy would later claim that the design was reminiscent of the lamps of holy oil used by the ancient Greeks and Romans on their altars, and that the flame itself represented a spirit of helpfulness and sacrifice. There has always been a lack of clarity regarding Deutsch's original intentions, which were quite possibly not highly developed. The chalice, though, is a symbol invented to represent courageous deeds and that were already taking place, which has been developed by children in the cradle of love. The first documented uses of chalices in the main sanctuary are from Sundays on which children and youth led worship and demonstrated their practice to the adult congregation. How wonderful that a children's churchcraft captured the imagination of entire denomination. With this memory, we light our chalice this morning. At this time, I encourage all children, or if you're young at heart, please come on down. We have a story to share. Come on down. I'm going to sit with you by reading this story here. I thought what I found this week called Say Something. Let's go ahead and take a look at what the story is. I'm going to sit down because it's a fun story to read. So this is a story called Say Something by Peter H. Reynolds. Let's go ahead and start reading this, okay? The world needs your voice. Mine? Yes, yours. Go ahead. It doesn't need to be perfect as long as it's from your heart. You don't need to be loud. Powerful words can be a whisper. You can say something in so many ways, with words, with action, with creativity. If you see someone lonely, say something by just being there for them. If you see an empty canvas, say something with your brush. If you see an empty lot, say something by planting a seed and watching it bloom. Now, if you see someone being hurt, say something by being brave. What do they say here? What does he say? Oh, it's okay. Hey, stop. If you see something beautiful, say something with a poem. If you have a brilliant idea, say something with confidence. Eureka! If you want to show the world who you are, say something with style. Ta-da! If you're angry, say something to help people understand. You make me feel invisible. That really hurt. I'm really sorry. If you see an injustice, say something peacefully. No more hurting people. Peace. Inspire others to do the same. Sometimes you'll say something that and no one will be listening. But keep saying with what is in your heart. Keep saying it. And you may be surprised to find the whole world listening. If you're grateful for being alive, quietly say something to the stars, to the universe. Some people find it easier to say something than others. I hope, I believe, join us, I wish. Together we can. I'm ready to change the world, I imagine. But everyone has something to say. So when you're ready, say something. Your voice can inspire, heal, and transform. Your voice can change the world. Are you ready to say something? And that is our story for today. So go say something.
See you later, alligator, after a while, crocodile. We send you out with love and a smile. Thank you for the lessons that you freely share, from the way you play to the way you care.
Make it easy to be near you, for the things you do endear you to me. Oh, you know I
This next prayer is from Reverend Michelle Collins. Prayer for communities practicing many forms of resistance. Spirit of connections and love, bless the many ways we resist. Those who march and organize. Those who cook, donate, and write. Those who tend to the weary, who pray and hold vigil, and those who say, rest now, I'll take the shift. let this wide circle honor every offering, visible or unseen. May release the myths that define resistance in certain ways, and remember, instead, the truth of shared power. May this be our prayer to sustain one another's courage until quiet faith and public fire become one movement of love.
As my 75th birthday approached early last year, I was stuck in a place of fear and anxiety. After the 2024 election, I tried to ignore the manipulated news cycles that spread ignorance, fear, hatred, and cruelty. I retreated inward. I tried to avoid the news to preserve my own sanity and integrity.
Yes!
Yeah, bro. But sometimes what was happening slithered into my awareness. I was aware that a chaotic campaign had threatened, harassed, and dismissed tens of thousands of federal employees. Entire federal agencies and advisory groups were purged and replaced by ignorant and corrupt cronies. Large businesses and professional organizations collapsed into cowardly vassals groveling for favor. Then in late February, I received a text message from a friend. Are you interested in going up to Omaha for the town hall with Bernie Sanders tomorrow evening? Because I had been avoiding the news, I hadn't heard about the first stop on Bernie's Fighting Oligarchy tour. In 2016, my wife and I were living in Des Moines, Iowa, where we got involved in Bernie's campaign. So I immediately said yes to a road trip to Omaha. I wanted to hear some perspectives, some analysis, some encouragement, and possibly some hope. When we arrived at the downtown Marriott in Omaha, we were thrilled by the long line of people waiting in bitter cold to get into the venue. People were excited to see the surprisingly large crowd. I had expected maybe a couple hundred people would attend. Instead, an estimated 2,500 people showed up. The speech was not memorable, but the crowd was. The crowd was peaceful, happy, and energized. Sometimes people wonder whether protests or rallies make any difference. That night I felt how gathering together makes a difference. I didn't feel alone or isolated, cowering at home, avoiding the bad news. I saw and spoke to people who were ready to join together to resist. Then in the spring came the No Kings protests. The first time I went to a protest at the Nebraska State Capitol with my friends from the Bernie rally, I wasn't prepared for a big event. When I arrived that morning at the Capitol, the temperature was in the teens, but people were crowded along both sides of K Street. There were no big speeches, no politicians, no inflatables, no marching bands. We didn't know what to expect, but we were encouraged as we read protest signs, chanted, "This is what democracy looks like," and strolled among the friendly crowd. Then came the big protest in June, on the same day as the Lincoln Pride Parade. The weather was warm, the sun was out, and the crowds were in a holiday mood. I had volunteered to be a safety marshal. My goal was to help the protest participants have a safe, even fun experience. Then in October, I volunteered to lead the safety marshals to help the crowd maintain safe and nonviolent atmosphere. After I volunteered, I found out that a big part of my role was police liaison. I had absolutely no relevant experience, but I received some online training from people who understand the practice of nonviolent resistance. And I decided that my primary role was to protect the crowd. And I also wanted to avoid getting arrested. That may be for a future event. So I spent most of the day talking to Lincoln police officers, Capitol Security Police, and the Nebraska State Police. They stayed in the background. They were not hostile or aggressive or dismissive. They appreciated the discipline, humor, and nonviolence of the crowd. If you haven't attended a No Kings rally here in Lincoln, what you will not see is the kind of chaotic and violent attacks that we witnessed on January 6th, almost exactly 5 years ago at the U.S. Capitol. But as many people ask after each large protest, what's next? What's next now is a strategy of engaging in small-scale local activities that support our communities. These are the activities that receive very little attention from mass media, influencers, and infotainment hosts. For example, here in Lincoln, I attended a summer fundraiser in the park for our Share the Plate recipient today, CLEA, the Center for Legal and Immigration Assistance. I played host in our church lobby for a trunk or treat Halloween event hosted by Taco Tuesday Familia. Over 200 children and their families attended. I bought cake at a bake sale downtown at the Ray Gun store for Taco Tuesday Familia's Little Free Pantry. I also bought my wife a cat t-shirt. I brought jars of peanut butter to a food donation event at the Sower bookstore. And I'll confess, I finally bought a copy of The Handmaid's Tale. Now for a quick update for those of you who like big noisy protest rallies. The next one will probably occur in March. We should receive more specific information about the date and theme of the national rally later this month. So that's been my journey of resistance in the past year. As you consider whether to resist or how to resist, I have 3 suggestions based on my experiences last year. First, resist with your family and friends. You will have more fun and be safer if you join with others. Invite others to join you, or ask if you can join with others. Then make new friends along your journey of resistance. Second, consider that authoritarians tend to repress a population by terrorizing people with threats of violence and imprisonment that are promoted by a compliant mass media. But are the threats credible, or mostly bluster from incompetent, corrupt bullies? I think of the saying that some of the worst moments in my life never actually happened. Third, be patient and steadfast. Don't give up on nonviolent resistance. It may take more time than throwing a brick, but nonviolent resistance works. Remember the historical results of nonviolent resistance in America. Women gained the right to vote. Workers won better working conditions and wages. African Americans defeated Jim Crow. And young people protested to end the war in Vietnam. In 1853, the Unitarian minister and abolitionist Thomas Parker wrote in the middle of the long struggle against slavery, quote, "I do not pretend to understand the moral universe. The arc is a long one. My eyes reach but little ways. I cannot calculate the curve or complete the figure by the experience of sight. I can divine it by conscience. But from what I see, I am sure it bends towards justice." End quote. More than a century later, during the civil rights struggle, Martin Luther King simply restated Parker's words, quote, "The arc of the moral universe is long, but it bends toward justice." May it be so. Now I'd like to introduce Tiffany Burns, our next speaker. Tiffany Burns and her sister Holly, and I think Holly is here. Hi, Holly. organized a group called Taco Tuesday Familia. I'm going to call it TTF. TTF supports small businesses, primarily restaurants operated by immigrants, that may be affected by the terror campaign against immigrant communities. When I heard that TTF was interested in renting our parking lot for a trunk or treat event, I raised my hand to help. That's how I met Tiffany. The trunk or treat event here at UCL was a success that provided more than 200 children and their families a fun evening. More recently, Taco Tuesday Familia installed and stocked a little free pantry. Please welcome one of my heroes, Tiffany Burns.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Charlie.
Good morning.
Thank you for having us here today. I'd like to open with a quote from Naomi Schulman. It's probably one that many of us have heard, but it's good to be reminded of it. Nice people made the best Nazis. My mom grew up next to them. They got along, refused to make waves, looked the other way when things got ugly, and focused on happier things than politics. They were lovely people who turned their heads as their neighbors were being dragged away. You know who weren't nice people? Resistors. This quote is powerful because it names a truth that we spend enormous energy avoiding, that great evils are not carried out only by monsters, but by ordinary people who choose comfort over conscience, order over justice, and silence over risk. I did not come here today to speak about being nice. I did not come to ring alarm bells that you are already hearing, and I did not come for validation or thanks for the work that I and others are doing. I came as an act of resistance. I'm here today on behalf of Taco Tuesday Familia, a resistance community grounded in a belief that is both ancient and dangerous, that we are responsible for one another. Not rhetorically, but materially, with food, with protection, with presence and commitment. Taco Tuesday Familia began after the first No Kings protest. After the adrenaline faded and people went home, my sister and I sat with friends and asked a simple question. What does resistance look like when the chanting stops? ICE raids were already tearing through immigrant communities, isolating families, emptying restaurants, silencing neighborhoods through fear. So we chose proximity over distance. We committed to meeting every other week at immigrant-owned restaurants, sharing meals, and deliberately circulating care and money where harm was being done. What began as Taco Tuesday dinners quickly evolved into something larger. As gatherings led to conversations, our conversations fueled ideas that inspired action. It became a way of sustaining our resistance and not letting people face violence and erasure alone. We live in a moment when cruelty has been normalized and packaged as policy. A moment when entire groups of people are spoken about as problems to be managed rather than lives to be respected. And in moments like this, neutrality is not harmless. It is collaboration. History will not ask us whether we were polite or nice. History will ask us whether we resisted. The systems that we live under depend on our silence. They depend on our desire to be liked. They depend on our willingness to say, this isn't my issue. I just want to focus on positive things. They depend on Nebraska nice. But injustice does not require our enthusiasm. It only requires our consent. This is why authoritarian systems love conformity and fundamentalism. They promise you protection and salvation in exchange for your absolute obedience. They depend on followers that find faith in words that hollowly preach kindness without justice, that listen to the call for calm while people are actively being harmed. What those systems fear is solidarity. They fear people who refuse to look away. They fear communities that meet one another's needs when institutions will not. They fear mutual aid because it exposes the lie at the heart of power, that suffering is inevitable and nothing can be done. At Taco Tuesday Familia, our resistance rarely looks dramatic. It looks like feeding people that the government has abandoned. It looks like showing up without asking who deserves our help. It looks like saying your life matters in a society increasingly comfortable with deciding whose lives do not matter. We don't see this as charity. Charity preserves hierarchy. Solidarity dismantles it. The writer Rebecca Solnit, in Hope and Darkness, reminds us that real change does not announce itself. It happens quietly, often invisibly, and without guarantees. She tells us that hope is not optimism. It is not the belief that things will turn out well. It is the belief that what we do matters, even when we cannot see how things will turn out. That kind of hope is demanding. It does not allow us to hide. Behind cynicism or politeness, it asks something of us. Service in this moment is not apolitical, it is subversive. To feed hungry people in a society that normalizes poverty is resistance. To protect immigrants when the state treats them as criminals is resistance. To care for one another when corporations profit from our suffering is resistance. And make no mistake, this work will cost you something. Because even though every meal shared, every act of kindness, every refusal to abandon someone in their time of need is a rejection of the lie that some people are expendable, resistors are rarely described as nice. They are described as disruptive, unreasonable, difficult, divisive. But so were the abolitionists. So were labor organizers. So were civil rights workers. And those who, like Unitarian forebearers inspired by Thoreau, practiced civil disobedience. They were not nice. They were faithful. The prophet Micah asks the question that should unsettle every believer. What does the Lord require of you but to do justice, to love kindness, and to walk humbly? Justice first, then kindness, then humility. Not niceness. Not politeness, not silence. Justice requires us to choose sides. Kindness requires us to act. Humility requires us to understand that we are bound to one another, whether we like it or not. Authoritarianism does not only attack laws and institutions, it attacks our humanity. It trains us to look away, to normalize cruelty, and to accept the unacceptable. Mutual aid and protest resist that spiritual corrosion. They keep us human. So my invitation to you today is not to be nice. It is to refuse to accept what we know is wrong. To not act in grand gestures, but in daily acts of refusal. Refusal to look away. Refusal to stay silent. Refusal to be comfortable when others are suffering. Refusal to abandon one another. Because when the history of this moment is written, it will not ask how polite we were. It will ask whether we helped, whether we resisted, and whether we chose solidarity over our own personal comfort. May we all be counted among the resistors.
Welcome, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Michael Stratman. My pronouns are he, him, and I am a member of your Board of Trustees. I want to offer a special welcome to those of you who are visiting for the first time. We are glad you are here. I have a few announcements to share. Today, January 4th, artist Rick Clark, who created our featured January exhibit, will be in the gallery after this morning's service to discuss his artwork. Next Sunday, January 11th, is a catch-up photo day. If you haven't already, get your picture taken for free. We use the photo for Realm and for the new picture directory. And very important, please note that Martin Luther King's service in 2 weeks on January 18th will be held down the road at Christ United Methodist Church on 45th and A Street. Same time, different location. Each year, at the spring congregational meeting, our members vote for 10 organizations for Share the Plate. The Share the Plate recipient for January 26th is the Center for Legal Immigration Assistance. Please help me welcome Paige Wade, who will tell us more about their work.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. As I was preparing to come up here and speak today, I thought a lot about all the different things that are happening in immigration law and how I could make that digestible for you to hear today. The best way that I can describe it right now is it's like trying to build a bridge where the blueprints are constantly being rewritten all the time. So I would love to share some specific updates from immigration law, but I believe that we have been exposed to harsh, cruel, and negative words and behaviors right now. So as I do encourage you to look up what is happening with USCIS and immigration law, I would like to give you some words of empowerment and confidence so that you can know resistance is possible. We try our best on our social media to share a balance between positive and negative information, and that is the best form of resistance that I have found helps me as someone who is on social media and constantly trying to stay updated so that I can push out information through our platform. I've noticed myself feeling upset very constantly about hearing very disheartening news, but as something I've learned is that when you're overwhelmed, you cannot take effective action for the things you care about the most. And so I would also like you guys to remember that it's not Trump's America, it is our America.
Hear, hear.
Start by doing what you can. The day-to-day kindness, small acts can add up little by little. They are the building blocks to changing minds and opening hearts. Be confident and be glad that you actually can make that happen. I started at CLIA just in August. It is my first post-grad job from the University of Nebraska, and I'm very happy to be doing the work that I can do. I see every day, although I'm not involved directly with legal work with our clients who come in with very different and very different stories about how they came here and what they are seeking services from us. I'd like to tell you a little bit about one of our specific clients, Pecky, who recently is still a client of ours, but we've recently been able to help her. She is an Afghan refugee who was fleeing Kabul at the time, and she fled to India with her children, where she found out she was pregnant again. Although she had gotten the paperwork to come to the United States for her and her children, she was unable to fill out paperwork for her unborn child, and she could not receive assistance from anyone to help her fill out the papers. She had to make the unfortunate and heartbreaking decision to either leave her child behind once it was born to create a better life for the children that she has, or stay behind in India. So she made the choice to leave her newborn baby behind with trusted individuals in the refugee camp she was staying at and came to America. This is where she found us at CLIA, and my colleague Alicia was able to help her. We at CLIA were able to bring home her infant child in less than a year. And although it makes me very happy to hear that, she is still seeking our services years later to help gain status in our country so that she can make a better life for herself and her family. It's stories like that that make me really proud of the work I do, and their kindness and their gratefulness shown every day is evident to me. Many of our clients will cook food for us. They will share many things to us. There are many ways that they come to us with gratitude and kindness. And I think that that is something to always remember. They care a lot about this country. They work really hard and they want the same opportunities that everyone else has. So I would like to leave a little bit of ways that you can actively resist. I encourage you to involve yourself locally in organizations that are actively fighting back against Trump's executive orders and laws. There are many ways you can do this, not only through CLIA, but other organizations like the ACLU. It's a great way to get politically involved. I know there can be a lot of barriers to acts of resistance, whether it's physical barriers, mental barriers, financial barriers, but I would like you to find what works best for you specifically. Don't let anyone make you feel guilty for not doing things that you may not be able to do personally. Any form of resistance you can take is effective and it will work. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Paige. As a quick reminder, as we pass the plates today, we will give CLIA any loose cash or checks with "share the plate" written in the memo line. You may use the QR code on the screen, or you may also give via text by texting UC Lincoln in the amount you wish to give to 73256. The ushers will now come forward, and the offering will be great to receive. Thank you.
If the rain comes, they run and hide their heads. They might as well be dead. If the rain comes, if the rain comes, sunshine zipping into the shade. Sip their lemonade, sunshine just fine. Zip into the shade, sip their lemonade. When the sun shines, when the sun shines, can you hear me when they rain and shine? It's just a state of mind. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Rain. Thank you. I want to say thank you to the Unitarian Church. I love you guys, and this is why I do this.
So please join me in our closing hymn, As We Come Marching, Marching, number 109 in your great hymnal.
As we come marching, marching in the beauty of the day, a million darkened kitchens, 1,000 workshops gray, are touched with all the radiance that a sun discloses. For the people hear us singing, bread and roses, bread and roses. As we come marching, marching, we battle to foremen, for they are women's children, and we mother them again. Our love shall not be sweated from earth until life closes. Our start as well as bodies, bread but give us roses. As we come marching, marching, unnumbered women dead, go crying through our singing their ancient song of bread. Smart and love and beauty, their dodging spirits new. Yes, it is bread we fight for, but we fight for roses too. As we come marching, marching, we bring the greater days, the rising of the women meets the rising of the race. No more the drudge and idler, tenants toil where one reposes, but a sharing of life's glories, bread and roses, bread and roses.
So I just want to let you know, I think Tiffany and I will be outside with clipboards. If you want to sign up so that we can keep in touch and let you know what's going on, please sign up. This is a reading from Laura Lynn Bellamy. If here you have found freedom, Take it with you into the world. If you have found comfort, go and share it with others. If you have dreamed dreams, help one another that they may come true. If you have known love, give some back to a bruised and hurting world. Go in peace.
Thank you.